The way you manage your finances as you enter your 30s has a ripple effect on the rest of your life. So in this video, I thought it would be interesting to share with you 6 financial goals that will help set you up for the future. If you're new here, I'm Nischa. I'm a qualified accountant, and on this channel, we discuss all things personal finance, self-development, and business. Before we get started, I've had a lot of people asking about my budget tracker and when it's coming back. I've finally revamped it and it's available again for free using the link in my bio. With that aside, let's get into it. The first goal you want to focus on is career capital, and this is ultimately your foundation, your stepping stone for building everything else. In the book, Be So Good They Can't Ignore You by Cal Newport, Newport defines career capital as skills you have that are both rare and valuable, and that these can be used as leverage in defining your career. So whilst your 20s is all about exploring and trying new things, failing fast, failing forward, your 30s is about really doubling down what you enjoy and what can give you the most leverage in terms of pay and reward. A lot of people focus on passive income and trying to grow their passive income straight away. And yeah, that is important to get the ball rolling. But I actually believe that active income is more important when you're just starting out. And the reason for that is because active income at the start is your primary wealth building tool. And the money you make from it is essentially going to dictate how quickly you can grow your other income streams. For example, if I'm able to invest $50 and my portfolio returns 20%, then I would have made $10. But if I'm investing $200, my portfolio only needs to grow 10%. And I still would have made more. I would have made $20. So putting more emphasis on earnings potential and increasing your active income, your primary source, will have a multiplier effect, because you can also use that money towards other streams in a way that makes the other streams more passive as well. So my first priority was to see how much I can max out my salary through my day job, really pushing for the pay rises, pushing for the promotions. And then that income and managing my finances has then allowed me to spend more on other streams where I've seen the growth has been a lot quicker because I'm investing more money into it to outsource it and to get things done. So your 30s is really about finding your niche, positioning yourself for the most rewarding jobs so that you can use it to build out other options. Number 2, build a mortality fund. This needs to be liquid cash in a high interest savings account, not locked up anywhere, just easily accessible. When you get into your 30s, a lot of responsibilities come all at once. You may have kids, you may have a mortgage, you have other bills to keep on. We generally don't have as much flexibility and options as we did in our early 20s. And so if something happens, whether it's a health scare, a job loss, or something unexpected, the last thing you want is the additional financial stress of not having enough money to pay for it. So I personally keep 6 months of my living expenses in my emergency fund at any one time, and I never ever touch it. I leave it in a separate account, a high interest savings account, so I'm at least earning interest whilst it's sitting there. And I keep it in an account which I don't even see, because I don't want to remind myself that that money is readily available. It's just there to give me some mental peace that if anything happens, I always have that to fall back on if I really needed it. So I have 6 months of a buffer. The recommended amount is 3 to 6 months. And if you're self-employed, it's 6 to 12 months. Next, we have what gets measured gets managed. People who are good with their finances and managing their money measure their money, i.e. by clearly knowing what their long-term saving goals are and how they are working towards them. If you just drift aimlessly with no clear motive on how much you want to save or spend, you are going to get swept away with marketing messages and everything else that's telling you what you should be spending your money on. And you'll find it very hard to save up for anything substantial. So I go through my personal finance tracker every 3 months. I sit down with all my bills, all my debit cards, all my credit cards, and I consolidate everything into my personal finance tracker. So I have a clear idea of all my earnings and my outgoings. And I get a snapshot essentially of how I am doing at any given time. This has really worked for me because it's only every 3 months. It doesn't take up a lot of my time. I have added in more categories into my one so that anyone can use it. That's the one that I've linked below, but you can use any tracker that works for you. And it'll just give you a really clear idea on where most of your money is going, and then how you can cut back in areas that aren't as important to you, just to make sure you're not going off track from your overall saving goals. Number 4, putting your eggs in different baskets. We spoke at the start about increasing your active income, but that's one part of it. The other part is having an income stream portfolio that can withstand different situations, because if you only have one stream, you're in a risky position. Right now, I have 5 or 6 ways that I'm making money, both online and offline. And there have been times where one of them has taken a hit, but I've been okay because I have another one coming through. For example, one of my income streams is through properties, but that stream has taken a hit because of what's going on in the wider market and the interest rates, but it hasn't impacted me because I have other streams coming through and making more money. So what I'm trying to say is don't stop at one, no matter how secure you think that stream is. Even working for a corporation, we are taught that a job is secure and the non-risky path, but all it takes is one person in the company somewhere along the ladder to make a decision. And that's it, your whole income and your whole livelihood changes. I've seen this happen to so many people around me. And so I will continuously say on this channel to not stop at your corporate job and not to trust that someone else or a company will take care of you just because you've been loyal to them. You really want to give yourself optionality by preparing yourself for different circumstances and diversifying the way you make money. The next thing you want to focus on is making money your laborers. And this is arguably the most important one on the list if you're focusing on building true wealth. It's an extension to the previous point, but it's more important for the future than for diversifying your risk right now, because what you do with your money now will dictate how you're going to live in 10, 15, 20 years time. If you keep earning and saving it all and leaving it in a bank account, then by the time you retire, your savings will start getting exhausted pretty quickly. However, if you choose to start investing that money, then that money will keep working for you. It will keep working for you even when you're not. So even if you do decide to take some time out or retire, you can sustain your lifestyle without worrying about running out of cash. So you can invest in different ways. You can invest in real estate, in gold and precious metals, in fine art, in index funds, ETFs. I personally invest in all of these, and that brings me to the sponsor of today's video, which is one of the investment platforms that I've been using, and that is Trading 212. It lets you invest commission-free into individual stocks and ETFs, and they also have something called a pies feature, where you can see other people's portfolios and the pies they've created and which ones the most popular ones are, and you can also create your own portfolio. So I set up an automatic investment. A certain amount comes out of my bank account every month straight away and gets invested into a diversified portfolio. So you can tailor this portfolio to whatever your financial goals are. For example, you can invest part of your portfolio into something like the S&P 500 and then part of it into the Vanguard All World Index Funds, whatever aligns to your risk strategy. If you do want to check it out, you can download the Trading 212 app, and if you use the promo code Nischa, Nischa, and verify your account, you will also get a free share that's worth up to £100. That brings me to my sixth financial goal, and that is paying off your credit card and consumer debt. When you start looking at debt as a normal way of living, you start inviting the concept of lifestyle creep into your life. We've become a debt-ridden nation, and having some form of debt has become the standard. But in your 30s especially, you want to focus on paying down any credit card or consumer debt that you have. People have different views on debt, and my personal view is to stay away from it unless you're using that debt as leverage and you know that the returns will outweigh the cost of it. If you're not doing that, then paying off credit card and consumer debt especially is a wise idea. I want to emphasize here that although I've said these are things you want to achieve in your 30s, that's because I myself am going into my 30s. And so these are things that I'm doing and I'm focusing on, but in reality, it doesn't need to fit everyone's timeline. I believe a lot of us compare ourselves to others when it comes to defining success, and that is the benchmark. And whilst occasionally this can serve as a motivational factor, it's never really done fairly because no one begins the race at the same starting line. And that's why I haven't mentioned specific numbered goals in this video. I've just spoken about trajectory. It's never too late to get started. So hopefully this gives you some tips and guidance and things to consider whatever point in the journey you're at. With that, I will leave you with another video that you might also enjoy. And that is my 6 favorite personal finance books that have had the biggest impact in my life. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And I hope to see you in my next video.